countries prosper economically, which have been governed by fairly authoritarian governments, haven't you? I mean, often we talk about Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore or Mahathir Mohamad in Malaysia, for instance.
Yeah, I think that's not the general pattern. I mean, so there are examples like that, of course, but for every example like that, there's far more examples of autocratic societies that have not flourished economically. You know, if you can create inclusive economic institutions, even under a politically kind of autocratic society, you can flourish economically, at least transitarily. You know, that's what happened in China, you know, starting in the late 1970s. It was the movement towards a much more inclusive economy, giving people the right to make decisions, making them residual claimants on their own efforts. And, you know, so that's what generated economic growth. But our view is that, you know, you can't sustain an economy like that under a autocratic political system. It can be there for a transitory period, but it's not sustainable.
A lot of your research is based on countries which have been colonised, and there's been a lot of debate, of course, particularly in the United Kingdom because of their historical, you know, Great British Empire, and whether it was good or bad for the countries that were colonised, practically all of Africa. But you say that colonisation often brought about a reversal in economic fortunes of the colonised people. So just unpack for us why you say that, because it sounds like you're saying colonisation was bad for the people.
I think colonisation was a disaster, absolutely. But of course it did create prosperous societies in parts of the world, in North America and Australasia. But for the indigenous people, it was a catastrophe. You know, diseases wiped out 90% of the population of the Americas. People were exploited. They had their lands and livelihoods destroyed, their communities destroyed. I mean, absolutely, yes. So I don't, you know, so I don't think there's much debate about that in my view. I think this notion of reversal, you know, the Americas, it's very clear in the Americas. You know, at the time, go back 500 years, where were the prosperous parts of the Americas? Central America, the Central Valley of Mexico, Andean, the Inca Empire, you know, the Mexicas, the Valley of Oaxaca. You know, there you had writing, you had political complexity, you had economic organization, sophistication, and whatever. The southern cone of Latin America, North America, far behind. You know, and then this gets completely reversed during the colonial period, and the places that were relatively poor then become relatively prosperous. So there you see the reversal in a very clear way.
Right. I want to bring you in, Demi.